amidst frequent complaints by the chairman of the Public Accounts Committee, Jeremy Figueroa, about the work of the committee being stalled due to the absence of PPP government ministers who are part of the committee. Governance Minister Govt Teixeira said that's not the case.
The Public Accounts Committee, members may wish to get into all sorts of political sparring. The issue is that the Public Accounts Committee, there are no differences or vast differences. The other thing they say is that since you have to have a quorum, this has led to a decrease. We can show with the numbers that in fact it has not led to a decrease in the number of sittings versus the period when ministers sat in government. And so ministers have sat on the PAC in the 10th Parliament and in the 12th Parliament. 10th and 11th Parliament. Ministers sat there. And the numbers, when we brought in the quorum, have not changed, have not, led to a decline in the number of sittings of the Public Accounts Committee. So my thing is get the facts. I'm not willing to get into debate with those who shout every time but don't want to tell the public the actual numbers that are taking place.
The minister offered her take on the issue.
But when a REO and at the PAC, and you know that, the former PSs and REOs don't come, they come sometime, they don't come back, and so you're left there with hanging questions. That is part of the slow up of what's going on with the PAC, which for some reason the opposition doesn't want to talk about. But the amount of times that agencies are told to come back with information, and they come back, the sitting PSs or REOs say, look, we can't find the documents, we've tried, and so there are those issues that are confronting us. How are we as a PAC going to deal with that? That's something the PAC members have to discuss in situ and come up with how we're going to formulate these reports. That do we give people a carte blanche? Do we make recommendations that they should be punished in some form, disciplined in some form? Because the whole issue of a permanent secretary in REO is that their tenure, their responsibility is only not when their tenure is in vogue, but also when they are responsible for the period of their responsibilities afterwards. And so that issue has to be dealt with in terms of people feeling that they're finished, they're gone, they don't have to come back. And so these are issues that are new issues because we never had that before. I've not experienced that in the PAC.
She said unlike Guyana, around the world the Public Accounts Committee generally meets once a month. The minister noted that the PAC has benefited from support from the Canadian Audit and Accountability Foundation in terms of training.